When I was a kid, this was a long, long time ago. I say a long, long time ago, I mean like 5 years. I was a part of a summer camp. I went to a summer camp. And I kept getting these nosebleeds, and I didn't know why I was getting these nosebleeds. And eventually, I think my dad figured it out, because I told him, we have this pool, at this summer camp. And I keep diving to the bottom of it. Well, not really diving. Every so often, the deep end would open up. You wouldn't be able to use the diving board, but you could just swim around. And I would just, because, you're young and it's exciting, I hold my breath, and I would just whoop down to the bottom and just stand there for a minute. And then I would kick back up to the 12 feet of water back to the surface and breathe again. And my father reckoned that the change in pressure, the constant changes in pressure, my father reckoned that the constant changes in pressure, that was the source. That it was doing something to the walls of my nose, like weakening them or putting them under undue stress, something of that nature, such that I would have these nosebleeds. So I stopped doing it so much, and I stopped bleeding out of my nose at weird, inopportune times. This doesn't have anything to do with anything. It was just a thought that I had before I started recording. And I thought, hey, let's just put that out there. Why not? Ease into podcasts this week. I'm a little tired. Accordingly, I guess this is one of those podcasts where I don't really talk about anything. I just sort of start and I end. But that's alright. These are the best days. This is summer. The dog days are coming up. The slow dog days. Oppressive heat. And here in the Ohio River Valley, we have humidity and humidity and humidity. It's so close to the south down here. You could huck a rock across the river into the south from the right vantage point with the right rock. So this is the time for such long and lazy and languorous thoughts as these. Letting them lope off of the brain and into the microphone. But of course, some people have busy summers. And some people have, massive, fulfilling summers. And some people are just hectic and hectic and hectic. This is not one of those summers for me. Thank goodness. This is a lull, I think. Oh, I know it's a lull. It has to be. Because I have this weird tendency to think of the present in the past tense, to quote the inimitable car seat headrest. I tend to view my own life in narrative terms, such that right now, this summer is a fallow period between arcs of the major plot of my life, which is, of course, college, and the the A plot of that narrative is a BA paper that I intend at this moment to write. That's sort of like the overarching, that's the big bad, that's the nemesis, that's the enemy that moves all of the chess pieces as the season continues until the plucky hero, that is myself, emerge from the trials unscathed and slay the dragon, metaphorically speaking. As a matter of fact, I intend to treat it less as a dragon and more of a, something to be tamed, something to be worked on, something to be allied to, like a horse movie. My BA paper is a horse in a horse movie, and I am the horsewoman that rides the horse, that bonds with the horse. It's a bad metaphor, but I'm the one thinking of my life in narrative terms. I can rewrite it if I want to. I just can't be bothered to do so at this very moment. Being that I am, of course, tired. There's no reason for me to be tired. I don't think it's that I'm tired so much as this that I'm unspooled at this very moment. I'm not... That's the thing. College has very much gotten me into a mindset where something is happening all the time. It's the reason that I've mentioned this, the reason I've had podcasts go up late, because I lose some degree of that urgency. I lose the plot, as it were, because this is the off season. I have, smaller plots that maybe get sustained out of college through the summer. Maybe I introduce new elements that become, recurring themes in later seasons. Maybe I have just, bottle episodes, limited arcs that don't really go anywhere. They just start here and then they end later. The thing where I learned Spanish is of the sort, it's either the sort that sort of dies when we head back into the on-season, or it becomes a later plot point, becomes a Chekhov's gun or something like that. I don't know. Like this podcast, and of course I derive some pleasure from doing the podcast, and I derive some satisfaction from, the fact that I said that I was going to do it, now I am. But once it's over, it's over. And this isn't even like, this is a D plot. This isn't like, even C plots, when I'm going to bed, I think about them before I fall asleep. Even C plots. But this is just sort of something that happens. Like most breakfasts. Breakfast is a C plot because I have to think about what we have in the fridge. But I gotta change my password on my computer. That's like an E plot. At that point, we're not even talking plots. That's just like, this is a bad metaphor. Because some things aren't plots. Some things are just events. Some things are just things that happen. They're part of larger overarching myth arcs, but, whatever. It's not like me changing my password is going to have any lasting effect on my life. I don't know where this is going. I very much lost the rhythm of my thought, my train of thought. I lost the rhythm on it. I am a little tired. I had a full day. This is like what I talk about when I talk about the fullness of life. And I talk about background characters. The implication is that I am the main character of my own story. The implication is that this is my narrative that I have some control over, thank goodness. But, who's writing it? Who's running the machine? To quote Car Seat Headrest again. I like Car Seat Headrest. Eventually, Car Seat Headrest is going to put something out and I'm going to review it. Or maybe I'll just do a review of Twin Fantasy. That's an oldie but goodie. Music is a theme in my life, which should be a topic for another podcast. That's next week's podcast. We decided it right here and now. We talk about music in general. If I remember that long, I don't know. I'm sorry this isn't like a funny joke episode. This is just me sort of decompressing after, after a week, after a busy day going out and visiting people, which I did. Good fun. As I start looking past this next month of summer and towards my next year of school, which I'm starting to do, I'm just taking stock of this little pause, this little blip in my narrative. I don't know. Funny jokes next week, I promise. Until then, signing out. Bye-bye.